So these examples here, these are just some examples I figured I would have you guys try. Then we would go through them. So I figured we'd do them one at a time. I mean, in the other class, I let them do the first two on their own. Then I went over them. 3 and 4, the two over here with the quadratic formula, I did that with them. So I figured I'll just do the same thing with you guys. All right, so let's get started on that. Oh, wrong set of notes. Here we go. Here. Okay, so for the first one here, what I want everyone to do now is to take about 5 minutes to try and solve that by factoring. Okay? The quadratic formula, I mean, you're not going to use, you could use it to check, but I want you to solve this by factoring. So take about 5 minutes, then we'll go through it together. Okay, so we'll do this one together. All right. So for this one, again, we want to solve this equation, right, by factoring. So for this one here, notice that there are 3 terms here, right? The leading coefficient is 1, meaning the coefficient of x squared is 1, so it's not written, and it's degree 2. So we can factor this by simply finding 2 numbers whose product is 24 and whose sum is 11. So in other words, we want to fill in the blanks over here. We want 2 numbers whose product is 24 and whose sum is 11. Now I wrote down 6 and 3, 6 and 4. Thought I fixed that mistake. But no. 6 and 4 I wrote down, okay? Just to really illustrate that that's not going to work, okay? Right? Because 6 times 4, yeah, it's 24. However, 6 plus 4 is not 10. Excuse me, it's not 11, it's 10. So because of that, this is not going to work. But 8 and 3 do work. 8 and 3 do work. Right? Namely, 8 and 3, their product is 24, and their sum is 11. Okay, that's good. So what do we have then? What we have is this, x plus 8 times x plus 3, right? We have that product is equal to our polynomial. We factored it. Once we factor it, x plus 8 times x plus 3, right? We set each factor equal to 0. And that's what I'm doing here. The first factor we set to be 0. Doing so, we subtract 8 from each side. We get x is negative 8. Over here, same thing, right? We subtract 3 from each side, okay? Doing so, we get x is negative 3. So we have 2 solutions here, namely negative 8 and negative 3. I mean, I didn't check the answer here, but you could if you want to. But those are our solutions. Okay, so that was the first example. Now for the next one, it's also going to be a solve by factoring. But I'm going to let you try it on your own. But let me just say this first. Notice the right-hand side, right, 16. We want the right-hand side 0. So you will have to subtract 16 from each side first. So what I want everyone to do now is to take about 5 minutes to try this one. You will have to use factor by grouping. So give that a shot.